Hey y'all, Conservative Brother Daily here, back with another CBD rant. I'm going to be talking about Eventbrite and Slack. This is a little bit of an older news, but I want to make sure to circle back to this. I wouldn't call it a slow news week, but I think it's good to kind of look at more kind of under the radar, kind of niche stories. And one is the ongoing kind of disputes between Matt Walsh, a lot of the conservative sort of influencers and organizations, and the very blatant discrimination and kind of censoring they're getting from Eventbrite and Slack. So Eventbrite obviously has been around a while. People use it for a lot of different events, set up events, for paid tickets or, get them free. It's been around for a while, along with Slack, which is pretty standard in the corporate America workspace. Depending on what jobs you work, I'm sure everybody to some extent, or just if unless you're living under a rock, you're familiar with Eventbrite. Maybe use that for events, or Slack. You used it, in your corporate job endeavors. So I wanted to at least cover this because and share some things from this from Young America's Foundation. Eventbrite, events made easy unless they feature Matt Walsh. Eventbrite cancels tickets for Stanford event featuring Matt Walsh. It's from July 2023. So I think a lot of people still need to be aware of the very open, sort of blatant discrimination, against conservatives with Eventbrite and Slack. This is there was a win recently where they were able to kind of dismantle GARM, thanks to the work of Elon Musk and Ben Shapiro. Basically, GARM, which is openly discriminating against conservative organizations, canceling or boycotting or discouraging companies to spend their ad dollars with them. They recently made that ruling in their favor, and then GARM got shut down. So that kind of made me think about, a lot of the other smaller news of this happening over the last couple of years, and this has been more apparent. And then the whole GARM hearing was just sort of the culmination of it. So once again, this is from the Young America Foundation. Over the weekend, this is once again July 2023, leading event management platform Eventbrite once again demonstrated its intolerance for conservative events by taking down the ticketing page for Young America's Foundation Wednesday evening lecture featuring Matt Walsh at Stanford University. And then there's a screenshot here showing that this ticket has been voided, no longer granted entry. Hundreds of registered attendees were surprised to receive emails from the company informing them that their tickets had been canceled. When a Stanford student organizer asked an Eventbrite customer service representative why the tickets were canceled, she responded, "It actually does violate our terms of service. It does not mean you cannot host the event. However, you can no longer ticket for it via Eventbrite." This is far from the first time that Eventbrite has discriminated against events featuring Matt Walsh in his groundbreaking documentary, What is a Woman? In November, they did the exact same thing to a ticketing page at Walsh's Young America Foundation tour stop at the University of California, Berkeley. They've also taken down pages advertising independent screenings of his documentary by conservative campus groups and a community parent association. Young America's Foundation and the Stanford College Republicans have since set up a new ticketing platform for the event. All right. So once again, I think obviously there's censorship that happens to the right, there's censorship that happens to the left, and I think it's just very clear that and I call out both. I call out the censorship where you can't you can't say anything negative about Israel, can't criticize their role in the Gaza Strip genocide and all that, and how they got this new legislation where you basically can't say anything negative about Israel that's anti-Semitic, and then you can be like banned or brought up on charges. I think that's BS. While at the same time, for years, the left has been the one wielding the censorship, source of power from everything. And then all of a sudden, since October 7th, now they're acting like, oh my God, why is this happening to us? Well, y'all been doing it to conservatives for quite a long time. So I'm still with you. I'm still with you on ending the Gaza genocide, not letting this Israel-Palestine escalation end up with war with Iran. However, we got to call out the left has been doing this to conservatives for years. So when the pendulum finally swings, y'all want to cry victim. So that's why I call out this BS on both sides of the aisle. So, next article I want to share. This is from the College Fix. Um, Terrence Kibble at the College Fix writes, Eventbrite repeatedly cancels college conservatives. Eventbrite canceling tickets to at least 3 college conservative events since 2022. Popular ticketing platform Eventbrite has refused to provide ticketing services for multiple conservative events in the past year, citing purported violations of its policy. In late February, the website removed from its page for a Matt Walsh event on transgenderism, sponsored by Young America's Foundation at Stanford University. Organizers were forced to set up an alternative page just before Walsh's appearance. Not only did Eventbrite remove the page, hundreds of registered attendees were surprised to receive emails from the company informing them that the tickets had been canceled, YAF wrote in the February 27th press release. Tickets in this order had been voided and would no longer grant entry, according to the Eventbrite website, sent to attendees. A screenshot to which YAF posted its website. Eventbrite canceling tickets to at least 2 other conservative events in 2022. In 2022, Eventbrite canceling ticketing for November event at the University of Berkeley. They've also taken down pages advertising independent screenings of his documentary by conservative campus groups and the Community Parent Association. Before this, the platform similarly refused to ticket a September 13th Walsh event on transgenderism at Western Kentucky University. It's not just happening to college conservatives. Off campus, it canceled ticketing and payments for a June 22 screening of the conservative Dinesh D'Souza documentary 2,000 Mules, sponsored by the Louisiana GOP at its annual convention. Lafayette Daily Advertiser reported that month. The platform also scraped a 2022 Memorial Day event with conservative group American Constitutional Rights Union, honoring veterans and featuring former Republican in Texas GOP Allen West. In January of this year, it canceled ticketing for a conservative documentary on the January 6th Capitol riots. One American News Network reported earlier this month it canceled ticketing for a march for our military event in Texas. This is a March 2023 article. It is still a mystery as to why Eventbrite canceled the event. One possible conclusion is that the Eventbrite management team may be liberal and not believe in our treasured Second Amendment rights, the group stated on its website. The fixed message Eventbrite 3 times in early March to ask to speak to a media representative regarding ticket cancellations. Eventbrite, not surprisingly, has not replied. Eventbrite is a global self-service ticketing platform with a mission to bring the world together for live experiences, according to its About Us page. The company claims to have facilitated 5.4 million events, almost 189 countries, through the issuance of 291 million tickets in 2021. Eventbrite provided vague rationales for its cancellation. Eventbrite has provided various reasons for its cancellation decisions, some vaguer than others. For the March 1st Walsh event at Stanford, the ticketing platform stated that the event does not actually violate our terms of service, apparently without providing additional clarification, the Fix reported. The event was part of Walsh's tour for his What is a Woman documentary produced by the Daily Wire. Eventbrite canceled Walsh's November event, a part of his What is a Woman tour, with unknown justification. Eventbrite canceling ticketing for the September 13th event at Western Kentucky University, citing a policy that forbids hate and harassment as justification. When canceling for the D'Souza screening of 2,000 Mules, a documentary alleging voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election, Eventbrite cited its policy against spreading potentially harmful misinformation, according to the Daily Caller. For West's Memorial Day event, Eventbrite stopped all ticket sales, saying that the event honoring the fallen does not comply with Eventbrite's community guidelines, according to the ACRU website. This particular issue appeared to be a component of the event, which would offer free ammunition and a new firearm of one of America's heroes, according to a crew. It appears to be lost on Eventbrite and the veterans and military being honored actually used weapons to defend their freedoms. Eventbrite's community guidelines page lists several types of banned content that could lead to the cancellation of events, of ticketing for events, bullying, misinformation, and hateful content. Under the heading of bullying, Eventbrite bans abusive and threatening treatment. Eventbrite prohibition on misinformation bans misleading content related to individual or specific group examples. Eventbrite's ban on hateful content prohibits hate speech, hateful ideologies, and hateful activity. Define hateful. That's the crazy thing. Activities that incite, encourage, engage in violence, intimidation, disparagement, harassment, or threats targeting an individual based on their actual or perceived race, ethnicity, religion, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, age, or veteran status. The Fix has asked Eventbrite to, in one of his messages, to elaborate on how the college canceled events specifically violated its policy on bullying and misinformation, hateful conflicts. The Fix has yet to receive a response. So, once again, like, it just goes to show that people cannot realize, like, the very censoring they got away with for years. Now it's kind of coming back to haunt the left, because the conservatives been kind of in the punching bag for censorship for 10, 15 years. And October 7th happens, now they're crying wolf. All right, this is next is going to talk about I think with Slack. There were some issues with Slack. This is a post from, they're talking a little bit more about, all right, Eventbrite. This is like a post from Matt Walsh. But as far as Slack, there's some, let's see here. Hold on a second, guys. Slack. Okay, Slack has banned the anti-LGBT accounts of TikTok. This is like an X post. It's an X post from Benjamin Ryan. Slack has banned the anti-LGBTQ accounts of Libs of TikTok, which is run by Shia Raikhan. This is from February 2023 from Benjamin. Oh, this dude. Okay, liberal. Benjamin Ryan. So obviously the way the language is, like, who's anti-LGBTQ? Oh, well, actually, there's a little bit more to it than that, buddy. And I'm looking at a press release from the Senate, the U.S. Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Senate Commerce investigation reveals how big tech weaponizes terms of service to silence the right. This is from April 24th, 2024. Let's see if I can look and find. Okay, here we go. This is about Slack. All right, investigation details. The report details Slack's removal of Libs of TikTok's workspace from its platform. Eventbrite's removal of listings for events featuring Riley Gaines and showings of Matt Walsh, What is a Woman, and how a major nonprofit technology services provider, Bonterra, terminated its relationship with Independent Women's Forum. During interviews conducted by the committee, these companies repeatedly admitted they used comments and context found separately from banned conservatives' use of their services. In response to why they suspended Libs of TikTok's account, Slack told the committee, what makes Libs of TikTok's post problematic is that Libs of TikTok has a specific audience, and they are taking this information and posting it to a specific audience so that everyone in the audience sees it at the same time. Slack therefore indicated that its primary concern with Libs of TikTok posts are that they target a conservative audience, not that its posts, which again are predominantly reposts of liberal accounts, are themselves problematic. Again, Slack could not point to an instance where Libs of TikTok made a post calling for violence or harm against anyone. Meanwhile, the committee's investigation revealed the numerous groups that actively engage and encourage violence may still be used on Slack's platform. For example, Antifa.slack.com and StopCopCities.slack.com. Those are groups that have attacked people and called for violence. So once again, you have it right there. Once again, you guys can look this up, commerce.senate.gov, and then you can look up the press release on Senate Commerce investigation reveals how big tech weaponized terms of service to silence the right. And this is once again an example where it's rules for thee, not for we. And once again, the liberal lefties have been getting away with this for 10 to 15 years. And now that October 7th happens, the pendulum has swung. And once again, I don't agree. I ain't pro-Israel. I'm not about Israel gets sent any more money. They need to end the genocide. But I'm also showing, like, you guys partly created this, having this sort of focus on doing all this to conservatives. And then when the hammer goes back, y'all are crying wolf. Because guess what? Now you can't talk about anything about Israel. You're anti-Semitic. And now we got to deal with this other side now. And, you know, you had Slack and Eventbrite leading the way, censoring conservatives all this time. You wonder why it comes back to bite you. So that's all I got. Once again, Conservative Brother Daily, a blackface trapped in a woke place, spreading common sense in a nonsense world. I will talk to you guys next time.